I'm here sitting at the Sukar Pasha Ottoman Lounge overlooking Katara Beach, the private Katara Beach, and the pictures that use buildings that you see in front of me. That's the very luxurious Pearl Qatar development, exclusive properties, marina, and a whole host of other things for the very well-off here in Doha. And Katara Beach is sandwiched between the Pearl here and slightly to behind me, West Bay, and beyond that, the city centre of Doha. And this particular lounge that I'm at is going to have some Turkish tea. Believe it or not, has gold toilets. Yep, the toilets are gold ceramic. I don't know how they do it, but it's very ostentatious. And it's quite apt, really, because the subject I want to talk to you about briefly is about hospitality at the World Cup final. Now, I got applied to the FIFA ticketing lottery back at the beginning of January this year, so nearly 12 months ago, and there were several stages at which tickets were being advertised, and you had to submit an application. And in the first round, you had options of either leaving it open, so whichever ticket came in the lottery, or you could specify which tickets you wanted. The reason I didn't go for the open option is because I could have ended up with a couple of games at the very beginning and then a couple of games at the very end and then nothing in between, and I didn't want to come out here for a whole month, though in hindsight I regret not doing so because I've enjoyed the last week and a half so much, and I just wish that I came. Not only that, I wish I brought my family here because it's been a World Cup, family friendly World Cup, likes of which there's unlikely to be again. So the first round I got a quarter-final ticket, and I got the final ticket, which I was absolutely gobsmacked that 28 million people applied for 1 million tickets, and I managed to get 2 of the 3 tickets that I applied for. And when the second round of tickets came up, was opened, I applied for a semi-final ticket, and I managed to get that. So I had, over 2 rounds, I managed to get the 3 tickets I was looking for. Just to give you an idea, the price range, the quarter-final tickets were roughly £280, the semi-finals around 400, and the final ticket, category 3 ticket that I got was roughly £1,200. And then subsequently I managed to get myself another quarter-final ticket, and when I got here I managed to get my hands on another quarter-final ticket. So basically I had 3 quarter-final tickets, 1 semi-final. The other semi-final I chose not to go to because I was just completely knackered. And then the final ticket. So altogether, I spent about £2,500 in tickets, and then accommodation, travel, etc., etc. It's once in a lifetime opportunity. I took it, and I don't regret it. So my ticket for the final, category 3 ticket, nice in the bottom of the third tier, sorry. Slightly to the left of the goal, towards the corner. And it had the Lusail iconic stadium, the final stadium, actually has great views from all around, unobstructed views of around the pitch. So wherever you were sitting, you're going to get a good view. The fact that I got it at the sort of, roughly around the middle in the corner, I was happy with. So when I got out here, my first game was at Brazil-Croatia. which sadly Brazil lost. But I met a couple of really nice Brazilians, and we walked back to the Corniche, to the metro station. On the way, we discussed all things football, and of course, got to the subject of Liverpool and the Brazilian contingent there: Fabinho, Alisson, Firmino, and previously other Brazilians who have played for our team. And we had a really good conversation, really good banter. They spoke really good English, and on the way from the station, we exchanged numbers, and I was joking because at the time they mentioned that they had come out of the hospitality, and I'd come out of obviously my seat, which was a quite really nice seat anyway, at the back of the goal, and I enjoyed that, especially the penalty shootout. I was literally behind the goal and watched the whole thing unfold. Anyway, so as they were leaving, I joked that next time, now that we're friends, next game they go to, they ought to take me with them and experience a bit of World Cup hospitality, and left it at that. And over the next couple of days, we exchanged messages, just how we were, what games we were going to, and then suddenly on Thursday morning, which is 4 days before the final, I had a message saying I've got to go to Abu Dhabi, and are you able to meet? This was about 2 o'clock in the morning. I had literally come back and tucked myself into bed, and I said, where are you? And he said it was at the Corniche. So it was a 20-minute journey. In the end, we decided it was probably too late, and he had a flight to catch at 8 o'clock in the morning. So he said to me, why don't we meet at the airport for quickly? Now, the airport for me is another 25-minute journey in the opposite direction to where we were supposed to meet the night before. So I said, okay, that's fine. So I got up, I got to the airport, and he arrived. The two of them arrived, and we had a quick chat. And he gave me an envelope. It was a hospitality ticket for the final, and he was like, just take it and enjoy yourself. And suddenly I was in possession of two tickets, a hospitality ticket and my normal ticket, which, as I said, was already a very good ticket anyway. So anyway, we exchanged pleasantries, and he left, and I came back, and I still couldn't believe it. First thing I did was went into the FIFA hospitality packages and looked at what was included in this ticket, and I literally fell off my chair. Anyway, so as far as hospitality tickets go, World Cup final, the biggest sporting event in the world every 4 years. Lusail Iconic Stadium had a capacity of 90,000, so with a worldwide audience of billions, the 1.5 million that had come here in Doha, Qatar, only 90,000 lucky people were going to get access to that stadium, and hundreds of others, thousands of others were going to watch it around Doha in official fan zones and then other unofficial places, and at homes and clubs and bars and restaurants and cafes, you name it. But 90,000 lucky souls are going to be in that stadium. And of that are going to be a handful of people who are going to be experiencing something very, very different. The cheapest hospitality package was $12,500, which is roughly £11,000. And then it went up and up and up: 18, 36, 48, 50, 75, 100,000, 125,000. right the way up to 1.4 million, where basically you had access to a presidential suite in the stadium. The reason for that is because the stadium, once the World Cup was going to be over, was going to be incorporating some very plush accommodation and apartments for the very, very well off. So that's where, obviously, you can imagine, we can start to imagine what's involved in such a at such a value, 1.4 million pounds for a game of football. But I can't think of the types of things that would be involved. So, just scaling this back a bit, I got to discover the £125,000 package included things like transportation, obviously, food, drink, standard, very exclusive executive suites within the ground, second tier, bang in the middle, access to very padded seats, screens right in front of you, access to instant replays, etc., etc. And then there were the sort of lower end hospitality tickets from 35, 40,000 right the way down to the £11,000 ones, which are basically the lowest hospitality price tickets. And they included access to a hospitality village with unlimited food and drinks. So you can get there a good 4.5 hours before that. Private entertainment, singers, dancers, acrobats, various games and different zones. A vantage point, literally just on the northern side of the stadium. 5-minute walk to your private gate, then get taken up to your seat in the second tier, close to the halfway line. Food and drink at half time, complimentary gifts. After the game, you're back in the hospitality village again for more food and drinks, more gifts, more entertainment, and party till late. Question is the cheapest ticket at £11,000, is anything worth, any experience worth that sort of obscene money? Forget the 1.4 million, that's reserve exclusive for maybe 10, 12 people. Then you got the £125,000 mid-range hospitality packages, that's probably reserved for a couple of thousand people. And then you got the sort of the 11,000 up to about 50,000 reserved for around about another 12,000 people. The point is that £11,000 for a 90-minute experience, which turned out to be 120-minute plus penalties for a good 2.5, 3 hours. Yes, an extensive range of buffet food and, of course, unlimited drinks and live entertainment and all sorts of other gimmicks, gifts. Would I pay £11,000 as a minimum for the cheapest hospitality ticket? No, I wouldn't. It's an obscene amount of money. I watched the game in the same stadium, in the same tier, as I said, slightly to the left of where I sat in the hospitality, so outside the hospitality zone, and I watched the Argentina-Croatia semi-final, and I had a great experience. I was immersed in the whole atmosphere, sitting with proper fans. Anyway, obviously the game went into extra time and penalties, so we certainly got our money's worth. But no amount of, if this game went for 2 days, for example, and if they replayed the whole thing again, it wouldn't be worth, in terms of the physical things and what was on offer. I've been to hospitality at, various Premier League games, at Formula One, at horse racing, and yeah, I mean, I've paid a bit of money, once in a while as a treat for myself. But I would never pay the cheapest hospitality ticket at this World Cup. It's an experience, of course, a once-in-a-lifetime experience. 2-3 billion people watching this game, and you're one of the few in that stadium. And on top of that, you're enjoying the very best service and seats and atmosphere. But you know, the real experience is football, and we've seen over the last few years when football, you know, ordinary fans have been priced out of football by hospitality. All clubs, every club, you know, spending more and more money, creating these facilities because they want to attract people with lots of money, and hospitality, you know, is a big part of match day experiences now for a lot of people. But given the choice, you know, I'll sit with the fans, you know, in the Kop at Anfield, Liverpool, as opposed to maybe, you know, in one of the suites. Once in a while is good as a treat, you know, with friends maybe. But World Cup final, you could argue, World Cup final once in a lifetime, every 4 years. You know, who gets that sort of opportunity? Don't get me wrong, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it very, very much. I sold my ticket at face value because that was the right thing to do. I didn't want to charge more. But wow, yes, of course, very, very grateful to my friends. Very, very happy to have been able to experience it. But it's an obscene amount of money, and if the option was there for me to pay it, I would never pay it. I would never pay it. But obviously, hindsight's a great thing. The excitement, I did get excited at the opportunity, having now experienced it. All of that stuff is great. Being waited on, you know, unlimited food, drink, entertainment, gifts, pampering, padded seats, you name it, all of that. That's not what football's about. And for that reason, I would never pay that sort of money. Of course, if you have the opportunity, by all means experience it. I have now, and I'm able to share this with you. One final question. I know if you're watching this and you're probably wondering, I gave you ranges and different packages, prices. What did my ticket cost? Well, my ticket cost, I can't say. No, some things will have to be kept private.